Every good sauce needs its secret ingredient. This time, kitchen bouquet for nice brown sauces. Okay, joke aside, we're going to model this one. What's actually quite interesting in this exercise is I can show you how we can create a pattern like this quite easily inside the sketch. And then also by popular demand by a particular Swiss American person named Eric Stravel, I will also show how we can create a threading in Fusion. Very good. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start with taking a look at the sketch I have here. I'm outside, I'm not yet editing it. And when we take a look at it, you can see how simplistic it is. There's the main body, there is the part for the cap, the gap for the threading. And then here you can see there's this repetitive element. So when we go into the sketch edit mode, you will see here with this, I can adjust actually a spacing and the count for repeating actually this element multiple times. Okay, so let's actually do this then. We go to a new design, front view, make sure it's all in millimeters, new sketch on here. Very good. And then I will have a line going straight up and a line to the left and a line at an angle. I'm going to block out the basic parts first. Press D for dimension, and then this will be 27.5 millimeters. And this line will have a length of 75. Pretty good. Then we can continue. We will have a horizontal line, not angled. Click, click in, and another horizontal line. Okay. I will delete this parallel constraint and add a horizontal constraint this way. Then D for dimension. This will be 2 millimeters. Okay, now this line vertically has a height of 5 millimeters. Very good. And also this one here we make 5 millimeters. So there you start seeing we are kind of like at the beginning building that step. So edit sketch again. Now we need to specify here the distance. So D, this point to this line, that should be 12.25 millimeters. Very good. Yeah. And actually, that's the same also here. 12.25 millimeters. So that this point and this point is aligned. I could alternatively also solve this via a vertical constraint there. Okay, maybe this is actually easier because now I only have one dimension. Okay, this we can extend a little bit. And now we build our first element. We need 10 of those. Before I continue, let me do something here and just show you how I can do something manually. There. Very good. And I will make this all horizontal, vertical. Very good. And then these, I have to make sure they are all on a line, like, or array. Now they're all vertical to each other. Then I can go to say equal U to U, U to U, U to U, U to U. So lots of clicking now, and you see when I change something, now it's like adjusts really good. Works if you want to model something like small element, 2-3 pieces. But when we need 10, this process while working is just too labor intensive. So we go to create a rectangular pattern. Then the objects we would like to select, this one, and then we just drag this one up. Cool. So this whole object is 5 millimeters high. So that means here for the distance, there's going to be 5. Then actually the endpoints of the sketches touch each other. That's important. Quantity 10. Then we also can say spacing or extend. Now these are various methods. Spacing is how much space is between the elements. By saying 5, there's no spacing. If I say, for example, 6, because this object is 5 millimeters tall, there's 1 millimeter of a spacing. Okay, so you see it's pretty logical. Click OK. Good. There. Very nice. So now when we go ahead and I adjust this to 4, now obviously here this doesn't work, so I would need to go ahead and then change this here to 4. Okay, good. You see, pretty simple. Good, with this part now done, I need to extend this line a little bit, then I can go up and go horizontal. Very nice. Parallel here. I don't really like these. Zack, zack. And yeah, this is okay. Good. Dimension. This here. I don't know yet, actually. We will figure this out later. This definitely, that is actually 18 millimeters. Okay, good. So we have actually now the sketch ready for the bottle. This one is blue because I can move this left and right. Let's take a look when we revolve this. How does this work? Yeah, that actually looks really good. At this point, for example, before I continue, I would do a little check with fillets. When I do a 10, yeah, works. 5, what about a 5 here? Yeah, no, that rounds really good. Right click, repeat. What about these edges here? When I round this, how does this work? This is 2 millimeters for distance inside the sketch, so I can round this with a 2 millimeter fillet. However, that's a little bit aggressive, 0.5, 1, yeah, actually 0.5, 1. Why is this actually, hold on 1 second, something seems off in my sketch. Let's go back. Oh, 2 millimeters. Oh, yeah, it makes sense. This line is angled. Because I thought when this is 2 millimeter, a fillet. No, when we round something again. So here's a rectangle, and we're going to fillet this. There you see how this is now at the midpoint. So when we fillet this to the midpoint and enter, this line is 5 millimeters. So this radius is 2.5. So you see it's at the midpoint. Let's do this whole thing one more time. There. Actually, I go to the side. And here I angle this. You see, 1.5. So we have the same distance here, but it's a different radius. See, it's also smaller. This is bigger. When I select this one and bring this over there, we can see how this is different. So that's why the number I put in for the fillet is actually not 2, but smaller, but I tried to get this close to there. Okay. No, I can say this actually looks pretty good. Then let's do the cap. The cap is pretty easy. We can go back to the original sketch. I will start here from the outside, a line straight up and over to there. Then we make this horizontal vertical. There we are. Distance. So press D or use that command for 2. and a line extended and horizontally, and then a line vertically down. And here, this via D, we give a dimension of 1. So what's the distance we have in here now? 3. We can make this 2. We make this 2, then what's this distance? We can do actually a readout. And as you can see, the readout is 11.25. We would like this to be 10.25. And this is a readout dimension. I cannot, when I double click, change it. But here, this is 1. We can double click and change this to 2. So we make also the cap a little bit stronger. And now this is 10.25. This number is important to keep in mind. This is the radius for the upper cylinder, which I'm going to see now here, there. Now this is done, we can quickly create our revolve object, new body. And also here I call this cap, there. Bottle and cap, I gave those names. Be careful or be aware of that if we join, split, etc., the names will change. Anyway, we're ready to do our threading now. Let me hide all this. There is a threading command, but this is more for kind of like metal screws or fine threading, not really for something that's coarser, like what we have on a bottle. But the threading on a bottle looks like a spiral. And look at that. There's a coil. I want the coil to start a little bit at the bottom, or not the bottom, a little bit where my mouse is right now, not here on top. That is why I go to the construction plane and offset plane and drag this one down, -4 millimeter, for example. And then I go to coil. You see here, it picks different planes, different heights. This is the one I want. Click. There's my center. 20.5. That is the diameter. You remember in the sketch it said 10.25 multiplied by 2. Diameter. Enter. And then there is our threading. Few interesting pieces. We have the amount of twists and the direction there, or 2. We have the ability to do a join. I just want 1 turn. Section size, maybe 4 millimeters. We have on center, outside, inside. So you see how actually this runs across this path. So maybe I will do outside. Yep, this is actually pretty good. Now, if I turn on my sketch here, so there I can see, whoa, this is way too big. So section size 2 millimeters. Now this fits right into that gap. The height here is totally wrong. So maybe this would be kind of like a cut threading for something mechanical, like for a screw, but we go more to something like this. So -4. Okay, so we have quite some play there. Okay. The angle is actually for this and that. We don't need this. Yeah. That's actually pretty good. Okay. Now we hit OK. There is actually the threading on it. And what I don't like is how flat these caps are. And also, now this is a triangular piece. What can I do to make this actually more horizontal, and then maybe some sort of threaded? So, yeah, what can we do there? Let's go back, right click, edit feature. Well, instead of triangle, let's do this a square. Click OK. Now the fun actually starts. We can go to chamfer and see, okay, so when this is a chamfer, can't we just simply cut these edges? How far can we cut it? So here this is too far then, but maybe, yeah, interesting. Okay, so the idea works. I could also round this. Yeah, okay. Pretty cool. Very nice. This I want to be flat, but this line here I want to go down. Okay, so that means that line actually I can chamfer. Okay, there we are. Maybe like this. And here, this I want to go in. So instead of equal distance, we go with 2 distance. So this one here, maybe 1.5. So that keeps 0.5 millimeter left. And this one, 2. There. See, with 2, it goes right to the end. Very nice. Okay, look, that looks super nice and clean. And then let's go ahead and round this by 2. So it's actually nicely there. If I want to have a stronger bend, you see how I'm on purpose going even further. Maybe 6. Okay. Very nice. Okay, that looks good too. Right click, repeat fillet, and then we say these 2 edges 0.1. What about 1? Too much, 0.5. Yeah, 0.5. Not too bad. Oh, I clicked the wrong edge here. 0.25. Yeah. So there you can see how these edges are rounded. Very nice. So that worked actually really good. Now we need the threading one more time. We will go back. -4 to an outside. Okay, so that means we will do the threading coil on this plane from the center. 20.5. Okay. Then this goes down. New section size. What was it? 2. Height is 4. Okay. You see here, actually, we can do reverse things. This orientation is actually fine, because while I'm even modeling the threading here on the same position, but keep in mind the cap later will be rotating. So this lower part will go right through that piece there. Inside and outside, yeah, we can keep this actually on the outside. That is pretty okay. But what we now have to do is we need to change our strategy. So this is the flat part, which means this is the part that needs to be rounded. Okay, chamfer. 2 pieces, so 2 distances. Okay, so this is 2, and then this is 1.5. Okay, so there we see now how they perfectly sit on each other. Very nice. Okay. Then we can round these edges. Did we say 6, I think, if I recall this correctly. Very nice. Right click, repeat, and then these 2 edges 0.25. Was that correct? Yep. Very good. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So when this threading rotates in with the cap, you see then this flat face will rub against that flat face. And at one point, mechanically, they will interlock. Yeah, and that basically is how we create the threading. Now we can continue modeling the bottle and finishing it. This is all pretty good. Here, these edges are sharp. I could round those one more time a little bit. I can also try to blend them over there, but I know that then actually the shelling command, I think, will create a little bit of a problem, I assume. So here I will select all these edges. I'm holding the Apple key on the Mac, or no, it's a control key on the PC. There. Maybe one, so it's not as big. Very good. What about this one? There. Nice. Okay. And let's go to shell and see if this shells. Oh, it does shell. Okay, very nice. Good. If this rounding is too small, then actually the geometry can be not suitable for the shelling. The shelling again prefers clean geometry because shelling is a very mathematically complex command because it has to make a perfect duplicate of the outer surface to the inside. So this way that actually looks really nice. That's good. So, okay. Now, because that is done, I will join this one onto it. And you see also now this is actually called body before there we have body 13 and bottle. What about we say you join this one? Yeah, so there's bottle. Very good. There's cap. And then we say join to the cap. I want this body 14 to be joined. Cool. Okay. Now, quick finish. 0.2, 0.5. What about 1? 0.75. Okay, then new sketch on top. And we will project this face into the sketch. So I have actually a line when I look from the top, and on this line, on this circle, I can draw a small ring. D for dimension, this will be 0.1. So actually, no, 0.5, so kind of small. And then the center point will be horizontally locked. Why did I do this? Well, everything has a reason. So now we can extrude this whole cylinder and start cutting. Going down, we can go through if we want to, or we go maybe till minus 17, 18, 19. Yeah, let's say 19. So we have a small gap there. Pretty nice. Now we can see, is this too small? It's kind of tiny, so I'll double click and maybe we say this is 1 millimeter for the diameter, so 0.5 millimeter for the radius. And because now you need to keep in mind, this is from the circle, only half of it really cuts in. So we cut in by 0.5 millimeter. The reason I'm pointing this out is because this is only 2 millimeters. It looks really big. Now this looks really big and even bigger. But this scale is really subjective in a CAD program because we can zoom in and out all the time. Anyway, so much talking. Less talking, more modeling. Let's finish this. 0.1, 0.5. Let's go 0.5, nice and round. Right click, repeat. Then we select this edge, 0.25. There we are. This cuts in there. I don't like this. 0.1. Make this nice and round. Okay, very good. Then create pattern circular feature 1 and 2 along this circular piece by maybe 40. 40 looks good. Okay. We get an error. Okay, let's try this again. Feature. What about 30? Oh, I know why. Wah, wah. I didn't select this extrude. That was kind of silly. So we need to pattern the cut. Then we can pattern the rounding, and then we can pattern the edge fillet. There. Takes a moment. There we are. Maybe this is actually too small. What is this? So this is the feature. Double click. Actually, 1 millimeter will be fine. There, that looks better. And then we have the threading there. Very nice. If we go to this view, let's check this out. Section analysis. Oh, we can even round this even a tick more. We have enough material. It doesn't break. Yeah, and the rest is actually pretty good. I'm not saying in terms of manufacturing, that is really the way how also the threading should be in there. Maybe not, but if we want to make a quick prototype for 3D printing, for example, in Eric's basement, yeah, we can do it that way. Okay, very good. So we modeled ourselves this beautiful design, including this repetitive element, and then we learned how to make threading. Awesome.